Hello developers, today we are going to see about chat interface using DeepSeek API on OpenRouter on Jetpack Compose as an Android project. So this is the given UI on Figma. So let us try to recreate this UI along with OpenAI's DeepSeek API with functionalities. So this is going to be an awesome project. So let's deep dive into it. So here, first of all, I just try to import all the necessary images. So images are usually we are taking as XVG. So I try to import this as images and we are going to use this in our project, right? So basically we need to firstly create our project. So this is go to the Android Studio, create new project and just create an empty activity with project name as DeepSeek mobile. The project is importing. Meantime, we can remove these default functions and using composable annotation we just can create our own functions. Composable function main screen. We can use preview annotation to check side by side live changes. First of all, we need to create the top bar, right? So just write top bar. Top bar contains 2 images and 3 and 1 text box. The images both are in row. Option enter image painter resource or drawable.ic launcher. For every image we just need to add content description null. Fine. We can also add modifier to add the size of the image. Just import everything, size, density pixels as dp. Here you can see 2 images, center there's a text box. So text box contains new chat. We can see this size of font size 16 semi-bold. For every font we need to add a
It's 9:30.
and modifier. Because every default parameter of second parameter is modifier. Modifier used for giving sizes, shapes, paddings, colors, background, etc. Fine. We can check. And meantime, we first downloaded that resources, right? We can just import on drawable. Just click on the drawable new vector asset, local file, and you can choose the files. Download. icon. I can use add icon here. And another thing is just vector set drawable, more icon. I can use more icon here. Is it okay? More icon, add icon. But you can clearly observe that there are more spaces here. 16 like that. So just for the sake, I just add a modifier, use spaces of horizontal 16 dp, and between here also there are more spaces. For that I just need to add spacer modifier, awesome. You can see it's completely working fine. Okay, further we move in the tutorial. There's a bottom bar. Bottom bar contains one text box and these few fields. So before that, we just move into the main screen. Main screen contains this icon. So I just import this icon as an SVG. And some few text fields are there. So we can write directly this code on the main screen. So before that, we are going to use top bar and bottom bar, right? For this purpose, we need to use scaffold. Scaffold, top bar, bottom bar. Bottom bar we are going to do further, and main content we just add main screen. This inner padding to use as it covers the remaining spaces of top and bottom bar. Fine. You can use a main screen here. Main screen contains image, two check boxes. Image, painter resource, all dot, drawable dot. So we just not included this image, right? New vector asset, DeepSeek icon. You can just give content description, null or just some icons. It is just optional of whatever you can do in content description. So we can check the size, 60x60. We give size only via modifier 60 dp. Size takes height and width. Okay, just add preview here also, but because of we are using modifier, it won't take preview. For now, I am just commenting out. Finally, we can use this. Top 1 by 1 contents can be arranged in the stack using column. Left to right can be arranged in a row. top to bottom we are using text boxes, right? For this I am using column. So horizontal and vertical it comes to center, and further I just add text boxes. Text contains, hi, I am DeepSeek, how can I help you today? Hi, I am and got stuck. Control this to duplicate this. How can I help you today? But you can see size and font are changed. So what is font? 22 font size and semicolon. 16 regular. We don't forget second parameter is modifier always. Text should be given as SP. Semibold. Font weight. And this is the regular is we can leave as it is. Font size, second parameter is modifier, font size 16. Font color we can give here font color or just color. We can use hex code directly within this. FF for 100% we are going to use this color in the sense 80 80 8E. It's fine. And also you can check few spaces are there. So arrangements are spaced by 16. So you can add spacer in just like a placeholder here. It will act. Height 16. Fine. Now we can write the code to bottom bar. Right. Bottom bar contains one text box and these fields. So these two are in column and these are contents are in row. First of all, I write the column and just one text box. Text box is outlined text box. Text field. Text field contains text and value change. Value on value change, it gives text. So basically whenever we are typing on the text box, we can just update the text. So for updating, I just need another variable for input text, or you can give whatever your names by remember mutable state of empty. You can just import the whatever you needed and use this import text here. Input text equal to text. So it update the input text whatever you are typing on the input field, and you can show it in this text box itself. Fine, it's cool. And further we need to give some color. So for that I just add preview how it looks, and we can check. Let's remove main screen and we are focusing on bottom one. Right. For now no text is there, so it just gives an empty. And for placeholder there's a thing called message DeepSeek with gray color. Placeholder, no, we just miss out the modifier. Placeholder we can add this another composable file, message DeepSeek. You can clearly see it's a rounded corner, so rounded corner of size radius 8 and gives inner padding of 6. After that you can add padding. Hope it's fine now. Cool. Clip is not working, so we can focus this clip finally. And further it gives some background, right, in gray. So further I just use a light gray. Second parameter is modifier. Text color is gray. We can just use the same color as here. We can add background color here, light gray.
It's 9:45.
Okay, fine. And for that we are going to use these contents. For now we are ignoring emojis and just add the content alone. So here there is no need of text box, outline text. It's just a text box. Deep think R1 search. Everything is in row. Deep think R1 search. Spaced by horizontally it would be spaced by some, I guess, 8 dp. right? I just give background as light color, light gray, with the shape 12 dp, and have padding 12 dp, right? Text is somewhat bold, right? Font weight not semi-bold, for us is semi-bold. Hope it helps. Here it's for sake of this, I just add my spacer with some height 10 dp. Cool. Similar to this, it happens for search also. Fine. And further, one upload button is there. I just import this button, svg export button, and here we are going to use in our project new vector z, fine. For just now, for the sake, I just give size as 24. All the content need to be in straight line, right? So we can use vertical alignment as center. Okay, cool. So we need to align this into end, right? For the sake, I just add spaces here. Oops, it won't work. That's also fine. Orders matters. Okay, cool. Finally, we are going to run our project. Main screen, bottom bar. We are going to pass on modifier and use that modifier on our project. Oops. So top bar goes top, bottom bar goes bottom. So we are going to add few more spaces to help this as sort out. For top bar, need to add vertical as 40. Similarly, for bottom bar, Hope it helps here. And also we need to use fill max width. You can see, right, the content is not get it aligned, so we can use fill max width to stretch the contents. Same only we can use here. Total column we can use that padding, and finally we can use the spacer here. Hope it helps. Yeah, we can just optimize the UI further and just started API integration to check it's whether working fine. Okay, this text box looking some feel awkward, so let's try to change this. For this after background I just need to include some rounded corner for this clipped corner shape. You can side by side check here, and also we can give this color changes, right? For colors it just take its default color, but we're going to avoid that. For that I just use text field default colors, focused indicator, transparent, unfocused indicator, color dot transparent, focused container, color dot transparent, unfocused container, color dot transparent. And further we can give this background, instead of light gray we can use actual color. Okay, you can see actual color F5. Cool, super. Then we are going to add API integration for this. For this API integration I just need to create some file called retrofit helper. It is the object. We are going to use retrofit services for retrieving the data. So before going to this further, we are going to explore our API. For our API you can just going to use DeepSeek. You can just create the account in openrouter.ai and use this free AI model. I'm going to this credits page. Let's check credits API keys, and I can create my own API key. Just use this API key and create one, right? After you created the API key, you just copy the key and check on our integrations. We can see on the docs to see how to integrate this. We are going to use this prompt like chat integrations of API we want chat completions. So for the easy sake I just take this API with this bearer and that auth token I just placed here. This is the API for here. It contains body so that you can text your prompt here. For now I just use how are you. For this text
it's 10 o'clock.
It just take and 10 to 15 seconds to give the response. Because it's a free tier, so it takes a few seconds to load. Once it's done, it automatically responds the data. By parsing the data, we using in our app. Fine. Hello there. I am virtual assistant. I don't have feelings. I am ready to help you. So this is going to implement in our app. So further, without wasting time, we are just deep dive. So this is our base URL. Just copy this base URL and then can use it in our app. Base URL. Fine. Suspend function, get data. You just use retrofit, but for now retrofit is not integrated, so I just add dependency for retrofit. No, group com dot square app dot retrofit. You can check documentation of latest versions. For now I just use my latest version of retrofit, which is 2.9.0. Once it's synced, we just need to add here also in build.gradle. Once then we can able to use this in our project. Fine. retrofit.builder.base URL. I just use that base URL, add converter factory and just build. So we need to add converter factory. As we are using JSON formats of data, we need to use JSON converter factory. Converter JSON, retrofit JSON. Sync now. Also here also we need to use JSON, right? Okay, finally we can use JSON converter factory dot create. Hope our object for the retrofit helper is created. After that we are going to use our endpoints. For using our endpoints, we need to use our services. For that purpose, I just create API service. Post. You can check it is a post function with chat completions at the endpoints. Function. Here I just take the instance and here just hit the getter. You can name whatever you wish, and after this we need to pass the return type. For now we need to create a model to retrieve this data. How to create a model? We can check our content of interest like choices, message, role, content or reasoning. Fine. For this I just started to create the models. Models are data classes. Chat response. It contains model choices. We don't need all the data to be implemented. I just take my data of interest. We need to give the exact name as here, choices, list of choice. Choice contains these types of data. For now, I just need message alone. Exact message. And also further, message contains these contents: role, content, reasoning. I take role, content and reasoning. A string, content, a string, a string. Okay, finally we are going to this as a return type, and hence we can use this as in our functions. Just use such one function because I am just going to use data fetching in a thread. Here you go. And further, we are passing this data in request, right? The request contain model, messages, role, contact. Again we are going to pass this. Create another model, chat request. Chat request is a data class. It contains model, messages. Response message. No, you need to get exact messages. And type a response message. This is exact key and this is type, so don't confuse with both. Response message contains role and content. Fine. Role, content. So we are going to pass this in our request. Body annotation because it's a raw type of data. You can see body we are going to pass this. And further we need to use our headers. Headers contain content type, application.json. Okay, we are going to pass this headers, right? You can use as the value, content type and header. Postman, authorization, and just pass with bearer and my auth token. And just use comma here to pass for the data of headers. And finally we are going to implement in our view model. Fine. View model extends view model from lifecycle, and I am going to use this data. val service retrofit helper get instance dot create retrofit helper no API service. This is the type, right? API service dot class dot job. It is a suspense function. We need to invoke within the scope. So we need to get some scope function, get response data, view model scope dot launch dispatches dot io, because I need to use input output thread, separate thread services. I'm going to fetch data, right? Service dot get data. It gives the data of our interest. We need to pass request, right? We need to pass chat request. Chat request contains body, model, message, role, content. I need to take model, role, user, content, how are you? Model, list of message. It contains a role. Role is user always, and content is our text content. For example, how are you? Right. Now it's a list of response message. You can see in response. It is a list of response message. Fine, cool, everything is setting up. Now if we run, it just fetch the data from the get data services with this current model and our API key and everything fine, and the data is coming to here. This data is going to use in our application. You can just check if it is working fine or not.
It's 10:15.
And just run the app, and we can see this in log. Clear my previous logs. We can see here once the data is coming or not. Once the data is fetched, okay, my mistake, we need to invocate this response data on our main activity, because that is the first one to use the function. Private, this UI is only coming, so we need to invoke it here. Private latent where view model, main view model, and on create live we need to call this view model provider dot this dot get main view model class dot. Okay, fine. Once everything is set, content is setted, we just call this view model dot get response data. Hope now this calls the data, but before running this we need to add internet permissions and manifest. Hope this now will work. Let's see. Let's see the log here. Chat response. Yeah, I'm just a visualization that our expected response is coming here. We are good to go. The final step is we are going to integrate here the response in our application. For integrating that UI for our responses, we started the flow by using the text. For that, I just used my view model to add some text field where text by mutable state of empty string. So just import this recommended things and just I used it on my application. Outline text field, I just used my view model text. Pass the view model reference here, view model dot text, and update the view model text. Input text not needed because I am going to use throughout my activity. Passing view model reference here, so we are good to go. And once the data is fetched, we need to show on UI, right? For this, I am going to use a list of items where messages by mutable state of list of messages, list of strings actually, right? Here we are going to set about our continuous responses. Once data is fetched, we use this our current text. Once done, we are resetting to text to empty and add the messages equal to list of string of a response message, right? Choices of list of choice, message, reasoning. Content or reasoning, both we can use. I just add a reasoning for now, and we need to retain the previous messages. Now we are going to use this in our UI. For this, just go to main activity, the main screen. It's you need to pass view model reference here, view model dot response success. Once if response success only, we need to show that new UI, else this default DeepSeek page only we need to show, right? So we need to integrate this logic. Default value is false. Once success, response success dot equal to true. Right. Fine. Since it's a mutable state value, it cannot refresh the UI, so we just use same reference here, response success. And here I just going to use lazy column for continuous set of messages, and just reuse this modifier here, fill max size, and use reverse layout equal to true, since we are going to show the messages from top to bottom. Item indexed, view model dot messages, index data. We are going to use the data here. For that UI, I just use chat bubble and just pass the data. Need to create a chat bubble here. Composable function. Chat bubble. I just add a preview and start the UI part of this message. So for this, I just use some box and a text field. Sample message. Fill max width, wrap content height, okay, we need to pass the view model here, right? You can sync and see the UI. Sample message, right? And the second is modifier, wrap content width, wrap content height, and just add padding of size 16 dp, and background as color light gray is fine. Rounded corner shape 12 for a good looking UI. You can add the padding finally inside the UI. Hope it's looking fine. And just use text color as white. Let me see how it's look like. Fine, cool. We're still going to use padding outside the box. Hope it's perfectly fine. And text align is N. Fill max width, wrap content width, okay, let me check. Fill max width, it's not good, right? Let me check if it works. Okay, perfectly fine. So I just need to pass message string where you're going to use this message here. Use cancelled, pass in the data, and let me run the script. And a few things we need to consider. We need to pass this message also, right? Add the response. We need to also add the text here. Messages, message list of text like fine. We'll check how it works. I'm going to type how are you. And we didn't add the clickable here. Okay. Once clickable, only response data will come. For this, I just need to add bottom bar, clickable, you can see the default messages come, but that is not expected. We need to use our messages. Okay.
It's 7:45.
Let me wait. Yeah. How are you? Hello, I'm just fine. It's working perfectly fine. And also we can add other few things to consider. This is just optional for a good looking UI. So we need to separate user message and that system message, right? For this, I am going to use another data class that contain result fields of val message string val is from user boolean. And this is going to use the result fields here. Text, this is from user, right? True. And this is from user, no, then false. Fine. Bottom bar la chat bubble. Data.message, and we can use null checks also here. And if is from user, if it is true means top end, else top start, alignment dot top start. Also we can add few things to consider. If background is from user, light gray, else color dot blue. hope blue will work. Yeah, we'll check how it works. This is just purely optional part. Hi. Let me check. Hi. All right. Yeah, this is our message. This is system's message. Yeah, hope it's work well. And this is completely optional. You can use markdown text instead of our text field. And further, you can do your optimizations. Hope this tutorial is useful for you. Thanks for watching.